I met this girl when I was 10 years old, and what I loved most, she had so much soul. Hey everybody, it's Old School Hard back with another video for you guys. I hope you have had a wonderful week. I know that for some of you, this week is most definitely quite nice because there's an extra coin in your pocket. But for me, I am still kind of trying to adjust to this time change. It always takes me some time, guys. Like, I slept a little bit on and off today, and I'm probably gonna need sleep the whole week. Don't get me wrong, I love having the sunlight out until 7, 8 o'clock. I love this time of year, but man, that time change kills me. And so I hope you guys have adjusted or will be adjusting to the time change. Hey, and if you need some more sleep, do get it. Make sure that your body is well prepared during this time. Make sure you have enough energy. All of that is so important. So today's videos won't be long. I always say that, but it won't be long. And so we're just going to talk about the stimulus package and just this little bit of irritant that I have with us as Black people regarding the stimulus package. So stay tuned and we'll discuss that. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, as well as if you're not a subscriber to the channel, most definitely subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into today's video. So on Wednesday, March 10th, the House passed a $1.9 trillion stimulus package deal that they are coining the American Rescue Plan. Now, what is included in that stimulus package? We do have the $1,400 check that most Americans will receive. Now, they did say up to $1,400. And me and my dad were talking about that because he said, wait a minute, I was reading some things that said up to $1,400. Not everybody will receive $1,400. And I was like, no, I think it said it, but he is right. It actually says that it will be up to $1,400. Now there is stipulations to that $1,400. If you make over $80,000 as an individual, if you make over $144,000 as a couple, you will not receive the $1,400. If you make underneath $80,000, you will receive up to $1,400. Now, this plan does include the unemployment aspect benefits as well. So basically, it's going to extend the $300 that people have been getting all the way up until September. And so that gives people at least a couple of more months to try to secure a job or do whatever they can to try to secure a job. So they will be still continuing to get the $300 weekly. They were voting for $400 weekly, but dealing with the Republicans and people like that, it just wasn't something that they could push. And so it's going to be left at $300 weekly, and then it'll keep going for it'll keep going to September. Then we have the child tax credit. Child tax credit. The child tax credit means that most Americans with kids will receive up to $3,000 a year. And I believe also you will get the $1,400 per child as well. So if you do have a number of kids, you'll get the $1,400 as well. Now, also they are giving aid to local governments as well. They're giving $350 billion to government, city legislation, all of that to help with the get the economy back to most of these states. So another thing that they're doing is housing assistance as well. So what will happen is the bill has set aside about $20 billion for rental assistance. And so each state will receive a bit of that $20 billion, and then it'll be given to different organizations. And then those families that are in need of housing assistance or rental assistance, as long as they apply, they should receive that amount of money as well. Another thing that's going to happen is there's an amount of money that will be given to restaurant owners that have been terribly affected by the coronavirus, having to shut down their restaurants. Now, I do hope, because there was a lot of talk last year about a lot of that money being allocated to white restaurant owners and other people of color. I hope that this bill in particular helps the black restaurant owners, because they did not receive a lot of the funds last year during the first stimulus package. So hopefully this bill does cover black restaurant owners who lost a lot of money in business. I was just talking with somebody the other day, and there was a black-owned restaurant that started like in February, and it looked so promising, and they're gone. They could not weather the storm through this, because when a lot of times when black restaurants start to begin with, they don't have everything that your regular restaurant that's been a while has. They don't have online menus and different things like that. They may have Facebook and Instagram, but they don't have the online access. They don't have drivers. They don't have all of these things that you would need to kind of make it in a coronavirus economy. And so like I said, I do hope that this new bill talks specifically about black ownership in the restaurant industry. So that is what this bill entails. Of course, it does talk about as well everyone being able to have access to receiving the vaccine, and how important it is that by May, everybody should be able to get it without any problem. So that's also included in the stimulus package, and do what you will with that. I have my own sentiments about that, but that is something that is a part of the American Rescue Plan. So now that I have broken down what is included in the stimulus package, let me talk to you guys about something really quick that's kind of annoying to me. You know that this page is a page of cultural discussions, and I'm real big about, discussing different things that affect our community. So one of the things that has irritated me the most is like these memes or these woke people or whatever you want to call them. And I'm kind of considered a part of the woke group in some aspects, if that's what you want to say. But one of the things that has irritated me to my core is black people, posting these memes, and black people telling other black people what they should do with the money that we receive from the government. And that started a long time ago. People have done that with taxes, have said, for mothers and all this money that you receive, you should have an LLC by now, or you should have a life insurance all paid up, or blah, 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 this. And so it's nothing new. We always have this type of discussion during tax season time. And then we've been having it because this is the third stimulus about, what it is that we need to be doing, or what people should be doing with their money. Get an LLC, do this, do that. And it's just something that has always irritated me, because I am of the belief that you don't tell people what to do with money that they've earned. Now, if you have been living here in the United States since you were born, you have paid taxes in some way. You have contributed to society in some way. That means if you got beer from a liquor store, then you pay taxes on that beer. That tax was then sent to the government. If you have worked a job and you've gotten a check, that stuff was taken out of your check. I don't care if you worked for 6 months and you ain't worked since. You have contributed to America in some way. But I just find it to be so annoying that there are black people who think that it's best to tell other black people what to do with the money that they receive, or instruct them on what they need to be doing with the money that they receive from the stimulus package. So I wanted to know exactly where this whole critical aspect of spending and why some Black people find it so important to educate other Black people on how to spend money. I wanted to know where that originated from. And what I concluded was it originated from a report that Nielsen did 10 years ago. So they have updated this report last year to basically, just cover some more aspects on Black spending and different things like that. But at the time, Nielsen report came out with a report called Black Dollars Matter. In that report, they said that Black people have a spending of $1.2 trillion. And also in that report, it basically said that of that $1.2 million, Black people are likely to spend it on cars, jewelry, hair and makeup, and different things like that. So once that report came out, basically it just started an uproar, right? Everybody was talking about this article. Everybody was talking about how bad it looked that Black people would be spending money on frivolous things that do not last long or hold no overall value. And I found it quite funny while I was researching this topic. I found it quite funny that when I put in, like, how much do white people spend, right? What do they spend their money on? All of the articles that came up on Google were Black spending. Black people spend $1.2 trillion. So there was not a lot of information that I could find on what white people spend their money on. All of the articles that came up on Google came up with that on that first. And I found that quite suspicious. But anyway, in this article, it talked about, how on average Black folks love to spend their money on beauty and grooming products. We shell out about $573 million on an annual basis on grooming products. We also spend money on soap and bath needs and different things like that. The article also says that a survey they did said 63% of Black folks say that they spend most of their money at Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's, which to me I want to know more about this survey and who they gave it to. And I want numbers on this survey, and I'm going to try to find it. If you have the numbers for this on that original article, let me know, because I want to see who they sent this to that gave them this information. Because we know that Saks Fifth Avenue is not near our Black communities at all. Neither is Neiman Marcus. The closest Neiman Marcus that I know is downtown Chicago. And so I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I am saying it is quite suspicious. So they broke everything down to categories and different things like that. And I'm going to be honest, you do see that there is a lot of money in the Black hair business, Black beauty. That is huge for us. We do make the majority of Black hair and beauty. We do make the majority in certain frivolous items, right? We do make the majority on that. However, upon looking further at this article that Nielsen came out with, and also looking at a couple of other articles like Black consumption and different things like that, which I will post below so that you can also look at it, I found that we didn't really pay particular attention to certain aspects of that report. And I think that we took it and ran with it and put most of the blame on Black people and most of the criticism on Black people, instead of really taking a really good look at what was in this report. And so what I found was that the majority of the money that we spend is going to be on household products, on cleaning products and different things of that nature. We also spend the most money on bottled water. We spend a lot of money on seasoning and spicings. We spend a lot of money on cookware, on frozen meats, on soap, detergent, and different things like that. And even when, I was talking with somebody and I was like, man, they act like we're, we're at like these high-end stores, like, give me every fur you see. The reality is that a lot of times when we get these checks, people are in Walmart buying detergent, soap, and different things of that nature. Now, do we spend money on clothes? I believe yes, we do. Do we spend money on Jordans? We do. A lot of people work up to get that stuff. It's not something that they do all the time. If anything, you're going to see people at Cubs, Jewels, Publix. If you're in the South, Kroger. We have Meyer here. We have Walmart. You will see a lot of us in those stores and not a lot of us in these high-end places that supposedly Nielsen is talking about or anybody else is talking about. So I think that this article was taken without fully really looking at what exactly we're spending our money on. And, I think that that's a problem because it has made people very, very combative in their conversation with Black people and how they spend money. Now, it is very, very true that white people and other ethnicity groups will spend money, will have more disposable income because they have a lot more money. You're talking about, a Black household. And if we're dealing with the racial wealth gap, you're going to see black people having a lower salary and lower income than white middle class families. And so white middle class families can, have a little bit more to shell out to more high end things. That includes homes, that includes furniture and different things like that. And so when we talk about, what people need to spend their money on, and we're basing it on this one report that Nielsen has done, we need to recognize that, it's not that Black people are dishing out money to buy gold chains and rims, like people have said this report is saying. We're spending money on household items. Now, I'm not sure if we're supposed to reduce that, considering the type of people that we are. We are a clean people. We are very, very conscious of how we look and how we smell, and also how we appear to other people. I don't know if it's that we need to decrease it or that more energy needs to go into what is of value to us. I don't know how to work that out. I do know that we may need to focus on life insurance a little bit more. We need to focus on spending on education a little bit more, because that is where we lack. Health insurance is somewhat a lack. But I also would like to say this. The reason why, there is a difference in the way that we spend compared to any other group has a lot to do with how we are represented in the community. And also, we have to talk about the racial discrimination that we have faced in this country for years since slavery. And we do have to talk about the systematic racism that happens with Black people and getting ahead in the economy. We went from slavery to Jim Crow to being locked in prison to redlining, all of this stuff, right? We went from one bad aspect to another bad aspect. And so we've never had a time where we could recover so that we can actually close the racial wealth gap. And so instead of being able to close the racial wealth gap, what we've tried to do is adapt in some way. And so to fit more in society, we have had to put more into how we look. We have had to put more into what we drive and where we live, so that in some way we can fit in a society that the reality is a society that really doesn't want us and doesn't care for us. You know, the reason why black women spend so much on hair and nails and different things like that is so that we're presentable in our workplace and in certain social societies that we're in. There are a lot of groups that don't accept people with dreads. There are a lot of groups who don't allow, or jobs, not groups, jobs that don't allow afros. There are a lot of groups that don't allow natural hair, or they're very critical of natural hair. And so women have had to supplement their natural hair for weaves and different things like that. Now we're moving towards that not being the case. We're moving towards, you know, that being something that's frowned upon, you know, not accepting our hair and different things like that. But we're talking years and years of having to adjust into white culture in order to climb the ladder of success, right? So we have that aspect. And not only that, our appearance as a whole, you know, we have a different type of style than white people or any other cultural group. But will that be okay in a white supremacist society? No, it will not. You know, so we couldn't wear certain clothes. We had to make sure that our clothes were neat. We were presented in a way that would help us to grow, that would help us to expand. It's unlike us to go out in public, especially in the workplace, and not look presentable. And so that's another thing. You know, there's a lot of systematic stuff that happens behind this. Not to mention, you know, a lot of us don't spend the money on things that add value like homes because we're locked out of that. You know, we're locked out of being able to have access to certain areas, certain white neighborhoods and certain neighborhood, middle class neighborhoods. We're locked out. There was just a news article about a black family who had been trying to sell their house forever. They had did all of the changes to the house that was necessary to make it presentable so that it could sell. And there was a realtor that kept denying them. And so what ended up happening is they got their white friends to step in their place, and then bam, you know, the realtor, the real estate agency was like, okay, it's ready. You're going to get this amount of money. You know, so they were trying to lowball this family and try to make them believe that all of the work that they had done was not enough and they weren't going to get anything. And so we've been locked out of real estate. And I'm not talking about like, you know, selling real estate, but purchasing real estate. We've been locked out of having access to financial institutions that assist us in life insurance, assist us in stocks and different things like that. Those are not in our communities. And a lot of the community leaders and different things like that approve businesses in their communities are not choosing these places to put in there. And so instead of there being an institution that would assist in stocks and long-term planning and different things like that, they'll easily put another nail salon there. They'll easily put another prepaid phone company there instead of what we really need. And so, I mean, there is so many things that is behind this report that we don't look at, and yet we are still very critical of our black brothers and sisters and what they're going to do with their money. First off, I'm going to say this. I'm not telling any black person what to do with their money. However they choose to spend their money is their money. Now, do I hope that black people make a conscious decision about what they're going to do with it? Because we know the next couple of months, after all this is said and done, they're going to act like the coronavirus and all that's happened with it, they're going to act like it doesn't exist. This is the last of the hurrah, okay? This is the last of the money that they're dishing out. And so I think it is important to set yourself up in a way that as we go back to being a normal economy, and I'm not saying a normal people, because I don't think we will ever be normal again. But as we go back to a normal economy where bills will have to be paid, rent will have to be paid, or you will be kicked out. As we go back to that, we will have to make conscious decisions about how we're going to spend our money. But every black person will have to do that on their own. They do not need you to do that for them. And that's my thing. I believe that we underestimate the intelligence of black people. We underestimate poor black people and their intelligence. And I believe that a lot of us and a lot of them are smart enough to make decisions. Like I've seen people online say, look, I got bills to pay, so I'm going to pay that off. I'm going to pay a little bit of my rent and different things like that. Now, if somebody decides to get a Jordan or two, that's their business. Because I'm going to tell you this, I don't buy gym shoes ever. But I know this time I'm going to take that $1,400. I'm going to use 50 of that and buy some gym shoes. Because I rarely do it. And that's my business, as Tabitha says. And that's my business. And we need to understand that that's their business. Whatever they choose to do is their business. Now, if you have more information on the Nielsen report or any up-to-date information on spending, I know I did see an article by Statistical, and I don't know how accurate it was, but it was saying that black spending power actually went down in 2019 by a lot. And so if you have any up-to-date information on our spending power, I would love to see it, because as much as I would have liked to research, I did not. And so I do apologize for that. If you have that information, please give that to me. Also, I want to know how you feel about the new stimulus package. How do you feel about people's criticism about what you should do with your money? Anything that you want to talk about in regards to this relief package, let's discuss it. You know, as always, on Wednesdays, I will have another Where My Girls video at. This one is going to be on another girls from Chicago. So I'm excited to do that because there's so much information on that. But just leave me a comment, share this video, like it. And if you are not a subscriber, most definitely subscribe to my channel for more cultural conversations. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope you adjust to daylight savings time. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good night. Bye.